This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with two good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. We're at it again. Conversations with Paycheck and Red. I'm Paycheck, and as always, I'm with my boy Red.
What's up, party people? Today's episode is brought to you by Drama City Productions. You can go to dramacityproductions.com and check out all that the network has to offer. And check out Drama City Productions /Paycheck and Red.
So this is the new home of Paycheck and Red.
The new home of Paycheck and Red. Yes, sir.
It's pretty exciting. So real quick before we get started, I always like to ask you how your week was.
Oh yeah, my week's man, it's a week. I mean, I worked a little bit in the rain.
Paying the bills.
Paying the bills. Softball, being a dad. I mean, it's pretty repetitious when it comes to my life, man. I don't have too much excitement going on around here, not too much.
Yeah, you have a lot of structure going on in your life.
Yeah, I'm proud of that, but at the same time, I like to be spontaneous, so I don't have anything exciting to bring to the table.
Well, unfortunately, I think that means that your ass is getting old.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was my week, that you asked?
Yeah, how was your week? I was getting ready to say, how was your week?
Oh, well, I appreciate that. In all honesty, man, my week has, this whole probably 2 months have just been shit. Just to give you a quick little rundown. So I'm working with this company. They pay me great. Everything's great. But the truck's shit. So, you know, it's, I'm going back to work with the family business, so I'm counting down the days. So this past week has been, you know, this is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, dude, it's just sucked so much this past week. Just the equipment sucks, trailers suck, truck sucks. And, dude, it's very stressful riding down the road in a truck, knowing that if you got pulled over by DOT, that you may be put out of service. Or
right.
catch some serious fines and, you know, points on my CSA score, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So I have Monday off. I finished up Friday with this other job. So I have Monday off. I got to do some shit around the house. And then Tuesday, I'm going for a DOT physical and a hair follicle test.
Ow.
Now, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm a professional. I do shit the way I'm supposed to, but I still have that feeling deep down in my gut. You know what I mean? Like, you remember, you know, when I was smoking, you know, when I go take a piss test, it was always, well, I don't want to, I don't want to give too much information away, but always had that feeling in my gut, like, fuck, you know. So. Yes, I go to do all that, and then Tuesday, early afternoonish, I'm going to Atlanta until Thursday evening for this orientation. Friday off, and then Sunday night, son, I'm on the grind. Badass Freightliner Classic, long nose, LED lights everywhere, in great condition. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about DOT anymore. I know that my shit's gonna be top notch. So, yeah, last week was shitty, but Friday was the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Now we're fixing to do big things, making that big money. Did I already say doing big things?
I think you did. I'm proud of making it all the way through the week.
Well,
I was betting on you not making it all the way through the week.
Yeah.
I really was. I was banking on you calling it a day at like maybe Wednesday.
Well, I made it to Thursday, and then I went in on Friday, but clutch transmission was just shot at this point. Wouldn't even go into gear. I forgot to pay my cell phone, so they cut my cell phone off. So, but it's weird how that works because my bill's due on the 21st. So on the 22nd, when I wake up in the morning, because I get up early, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, so my phone was still on. So when I got to the truck at about 1:30, it wouldn't go into gear. I called everybody, I texted everybody. Of course, they were still sleeping. And nobody called me back, nobody texted me back. I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to the house then. Dude, I get to the house about 5 o'clock. The wife's still sleeping, so I crash on the couch a little bit. Wake up at 7:20. Dude, no messages, no missed phone calls. I was like, fuck, are they mad at me? You know? Come to find out, my damn phone got turned off. Didn't know it. And luckily the wife, when she got to work, she realized it and paid the bill or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I went hours of no... Imagine you calling your boss about something's wrong, and you get no return phone call, you get nothing. This is my last day of work. So I thought they were thinking, this motherfucker here decides that he ain't working on his last day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, Friday was... I didn't even work. I literally... This is crazy how well my wife knows me. So she calls me on lunch. I talk to her every day at lunch. So she calls and I'm like, hello? She's like, let me guess. You're laying on the couch, smoking cigarettes in the house, watching TV, dirtying up all the damn dishes. And that was exactly what I had done all damn day. Yeah, rough week, but next week's going to be a lot better.
I hear you.
So... I'm sure some of you guys have noticed by now that there's some changes going on over here at CWPR.
Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
Yeah, tell us about it. What's going on?
As they can see, we've got new microphone equipment. We've got new headsets and all that cool shit. We're now on video. And... we're going to switch it up a little bit, y'all. We're doing not really under construction, an overhaul kind of thing, but me and Paycheck have a serious side, just as well as a comedic side. So not only are we going to be talking about funny shit, we're going to talk about some, I'm not going to call them serious, but they're not funny either. I mean, they're just everyday topics that don't involve comedy. I mean, we'll laugh and cut up in the midst of it, but it's not going to be all comedy.
Well, we don't want to get caught up in or backed into a corner and typecasted, if you will, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the most part, what you guys have heard thus far is the real deal.
Yeah.
You know, we cut up, we laugh, we even clown around about serious topics, you know, but the problem that we're having, full transparency, is that Red and I, we're educated, you know, we're involved in our communities, we're involved in what's going on in the world, and to be honest with you, what's going on in the world is not all rainbows and fucking unicorns, you know what I mean? So we don't want to just talk about the rainbows and unicorns. We want to talk about, you know, some real shit that's going on in the world, shit that Red and I are passionate about, and so that's kind of what this episode is going to be about. This episode's called Let's Talk About It. So let's talk about what Red's doing right now. Everybody look at Red. Get it, what? Get it? Well, let's talk about that for a second. Marijuana. And I know we've touched on it a little bit, and I think we did an episode on it, right? 420?
We did 420 episode. Yeah, we did.
So now here's the thing about 420. It's been looked at differently over the years since I've been alive.
Right.
I was subjected to it quite early in life. There was a stigma attached to it. Then as the years passed, the stigma was kind of removed. It's become It's become more mainstream, but and look, I've always supported it with the kid. Damn, how many apparatuses are you using tonight? Son? Good night. You got your joint rolled there too?
I will. I rolled one before we started, but I didn't.
So I've always been a supporter and advocate of cannabis. I know that it has a lot of medicinal values. I know it helps people with PTSD. I know it helps people that's going through cancer treatments. So I've always supported it. I've always promoted it. I even talked to my kids about it. I told them that I don't mind if they smoke, as long as it's a recreational deal and, you know, it doesn't turn into like a crack deal, you know what I mean? I don't want you out there sucking dick for a bag of pot, you know what I mean?
Right.
But with my line of work, I know drivers who smoke. So it sounds weird and everything, but so you don't get urinalysis tests in the construction business, right?
No, sir.
Have you ever had a drug test at a? You've only done construction for the most part, correct?
Well, early on, I had like, you know, in high school and stuff like that, I had like grocery store jobs and stuff like that.
That's the worst place to work if you get high. Would you go in there and start stealing grapes and shit?
No, man. I don't ever recall having to take a drug test for my grocery store job. I worked at Pepsi Cola for a little while, and I did have to take one for that, and I kind of found a couple loopholes, and I worked my way around that one. But
so with Pepsi, they don't do randoms?
Mm-mm.
Just a pre-employment?
Just a pre-employment, yeah.
Which is odd to me that, okay, if you're going to do a pre-employment urinalysis test,
Right.
You're going to spend the money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's just for insurance purposes, right?
I would assume, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because the grocery store job, I don't remember taking one. My Pepsi Cola job, I remember taking one.
So what would separate those two? What would be the difference between a company who does pre-employment urinalysis tests and those who don't? If it's an insurance issue, then I'm assuming different insurance agencies require different regulations and policies.
Yeah, I mean, just for a bag boy job at a grocery store, they don't see much danger. You know what I mean? They don't have to climb, they don't have to cut anything, they don't have to handle any heavy equipment or anything like that. But
yeah, but these motherfuckers are handling my eggs and my bread. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, people in like the meat department of a grocery store or produce department of a grocery store, especially a meat department, they're handling sharp knives, they're handling, you know, slicing equipment and all that. So I'm not real sure if those departments have to have urinalysis tests, but I know whenever I got my job in high school bagging groceries, I didn't have to take one. But at Pepsi Cola, they're a nationwide, worldwide company, so
yeah, we have a couple of them.
I'm pretty sure that their insurance company is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And they require a lot more from their employees when you get started with them. But it's just a pre-employment. There was no randoms or anything.
Well, what I've learned in the past 10 years is that you can get around that first one, and you can still partake in those extracurricular activities. But what if something happened? You got hurt, or you were laid off. So now you're stuck in a situation. Let's say that you didn't grow up the way you and I grew up. Let's say you didn't know about how to get around those loopholes. So you take this young kid, first job, second job, whatever, young. They get past that pre-employment, and then they start smoking again, and then they get laid off. In theory, you'd have to wait 30 days before you can even start looking for another job. So my point to all this is that, and I'm going to segue into, and I'll let you go first, but I want to segue into being an adult and what is required as an adult. And in today's society, a lot of these requirements adults do not have.
No, they do not.
So my pre-segue is that as a child, as a young man, young lady or whatever, it's really not a big deal. You know what I mean? Okay, you got to wait 30 days. Yeah, you're not going to have any beer money. You might not have any gas money.
Right.
But, dude, if you're a fucking grown man, grown woman with a family and bills and shit, and you get laid off or terminated and you have to wait 30 days, dude, you know how many fucking bills are going to fall in in 30 days?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that's not, I mean, 30 days, that's cutting it close, because a guy of my robust nature is going to stay in a little longer.
Wait. Now, I know you and I talked about that. I don't believe that. But you think that? I know that THC sticks to fat cells.
Scientific fact that I'm a robust individual.
No, what? When you say scientific fact, means that you went to the doctor and the doctor said that you're a robust individual?
Yeah, pretty much. But it's also a scientific fact that THC stores in your fat cells.
Right, but...
So if you're a lean person, it's not going to stay in as long.
Just for the record, I may look lean, but I'm 2 bills. I have what you call a dad bod. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, me too. But for a guy of my size, and I'm a fat storer. I collect fat. I'm a fat collector.
Yeah, but I remember your dad. Your dad was not a robust gentleman. Not that I recall.
No, but he had a few years in.
Yeah.
Of constant. Yeah. But it's going to take a lot longer for a person of my size, rather than a lean person, to get rid of it than it would be for me, because I got a lot of places for the THC to store.
Yeah. Are you pointing at your moves right now? Is that what that was?
Yeah, so, I mean, somebody like me, in the job that I have, I didn't take a pre-employment drug screen, and I don't have randoms or anything like that.
I bet you didn't even fill out an application at that place, did you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
That required resources and past work history?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
Really?
was all legit. Yeah, it's all legit. But, you know, it's a stereotype with the construction industry, man. A lot of people that work in the construction industry, the majority, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the majority of them partake in smoking marijuana. So
yeah, that is not a stereotype. That is fact.
Well, I mean, you've got some like Christian-based construction companies that don't, and you've got just a lot of construction companies that run a tighter ship than what mine does, that do randoms and pre-employment drug screens. And because some of them, when they run heavy equipment, or they get hired to run heavy equipment, or anything, or just equipment in general that could cause harm to somebody else or yourself, they're going to want you to take a drug test, because they don't want you to get fucked up and run over somebody, or, you know, drill a hole in somebody's foot or anything like that. So a lot of construction companies do pre-employment drug screens and randoms. I know a lot of them that do, but just this particular one that I have, no.
Well, I've been in construction a majority of my life, but I was only in the electrical trade. So I can only speak for the electrical trade. And I know that every electrical company, but well, that's hard to say also, because I was a contractor, you know, for the most. As soon as I got some experience and I got the whole electrical concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I went contractor. That's where the money was at.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, I didn't require myself to go take your analysis test.
I mean, I've done everything from build houses to paint them. The only thing I haven't done, I think, is electrical and plumbing. So I've done a little bit of everything.
Well, now I've done a little bit of everything. I actually found electrical through that process. I've framed houses. I've done central heat and air. I've done drywall. I think the only thing I haven't done was plumbing.
Right.
Yeah, plumbing was the only thing. But it's funny because I found that the electrical was, it's kind of embarrassing now that I think about it, but I chose electrical because it was the easiest out of all of them.
Yeah.
You're indoors for the most part. You know, you're up and down ladders, but you're not toting anything heavy, not a lot of digging, depending on what kind of electrical. I mean, if you're doing mobile home complete setups, you're setting poles and, you know, shit like that. I mean, so that's a lot of digging and shit, but
You didn't have to handle any big wire spools or anything like that?
only as a truck driver. Weird, right? Like I used to work for, and it's crazy how worlds collide sometimes. I was actually.
Hold on, wait a minute. Where you get your fucking wire from? It had to come from a big spool, not a big spool, but they come on decent sized spools.
Yeah, dude, I was picking up 1,000. Shit, I don't even know how much they were, but I was picking them up from the electrical. Our electric bill goes to Jacksonville, JEA. That's the big power company here.
Right.
The company that I was actually a truck driver for an electrical company, which is ironic. That's what I mean. The two worlds come together. But yeah. I've been to JEA picking up. I think 11 was all I could fit on the trailer, but yeah, dude, fucking 4 off, fucking thick shit.
Damn.
Yeah. But you know, I'm trying to keep everything in order here, but I wanted to segue into being an adult male, because that's the only thing we could really think of. But Red and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about how beneficial it would be if every male and female, I don't want to, you know, just cast them aside or whatever, but I believe, and if I remember correctly, you believe also that every male should experience at least 1 year in the construction business.
Absolutely.
Why?
Life skills, man.
Okay, you say life skills, so which is crazy, and I agree. So think about, excuse me. Think about, okay, so you're gonna get in there, you're gonna learn how to read a tape measure, first of all, right? Most trades require a tape measure.
Right.
So, dude, think about what being able to read a tape measure would teach somebody.
Dude, a tape measure teaches you fractions. It teaches you measurements and lengths and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, in the painting industry that I'm in now,
you don't use no fucking tape measure in the painting. Painting.
Can I finish my thought? In the painting industry, you know, there's not any on the jobs that I go to now. But when I was in South Carolina, we worked on a lot of hotel jobs and a lot of commercial jobs, and we worked right alongside with other painting companies. So the job was big enough for more than one painting contractor to be in there painting. They would have sections that they would be working on or whatever. But I've seen females with paintbrushes. I've seen females with tool bags on and nail guns and hammers, tape measures and all that stuff. So, you know, the construction industry is for everybody. And when I say that everybody needs, you know, spend at least 1 year in the construction industry, that's life skills. That's people skills. Mm-hmm. That's, you know,
thickens up your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it toughens up your skin for, you know, for whatever. You know, get your tan on if you work outside or whatever. But
well, there's a lot of shit talking going on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
You'll sink or swim pretty quick, which is important. And I just want to touch on this real quick. I think that's a big problem with society today. Is you got a lot of pussies. They can't handle, you know, a little bit of ribbon. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You get out there in the construction business, and if you ain't got no thick skin, you ain't gonna make it.
No. But dealing with people, you know, working with tools, because working with, you know, a hammer. I mean, everybody knows how to use a hammer that's got any kind of common sense about it.
Wait. Just for the record, for all y'all that don't know how to use a hammer, You do not choke up on a hammer.
not choke up on the hammer. But everybody knows how to use a hammer that's got any kind of common sense about it. And you learn that even before you get to a construction job site. You know how to use a hammer. And for people that, you know, didn't do so well in school or something like that, you know, when you get to a job site and they hand you a tape measure and they say, here, go cut me this board 27 inches and 3/4 or 5/8 or 13/16, you're going to look at that motherfucker and be like, what's a 13/16? And now they have these fucking, I call them millennial tape measures because they have the little marks on them and they already have wrote what it is.
Yep.
I see those on the job and I grab for another tape measure. I don't even use those motherfuckers because I like to keep myself in check and know that I still know how to read a tape measure. So, but whenever you go onto a job and there's skill saws and there's hammers and there's nail guns and there's air compressors and all that shit, and you're taking the everyday ribbing from your coworkers and the shit talking and all that, and you pull your gear and you find a better job doing something else, pencil pushing, doing whatever you want to do other than construction, you're going to take those skills and apply them to that job. Maybe not with a tape measure, but with tough-skinned people skills.
Mm-hmm.
And for young people, right out of high school that get construction jobs or anything like that, I highly advise it because I think that the construction industry prepares a young mind and a young body for the workforce.
Yeah, I agree.
And whether they go on to college and get, you know, desk jobs or, you know, jobs of authority or whatever it is, that construction job is going to prepare them for that.
Absolutely.
Because if you've got if you work at a construction job and you go on to bigger and better things and go to college and get your school learning and get a job of authority or something like that, or just a job behind a desk or something, whatever the case is, and you have a boss and you have deadlines you have to meet or, you know, projects that you're working on that have, you know, timelines, and they're crawling your ass to get on them and to finish them and to meet this deadline and do this, that tough skin that you got on the construction job is going to prepare you for that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So I highly advise every young individual when they graduate high school, if they don't already have one in the summer, to go get a construction job, no matter what it is. If it's pushing a wheelbarrow, if it's...
Wait, pushing a what?
A wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow. What do you call it?
A wheelbarrow.
A wheelbarrow. Yeah, that's what I said, a wheelbarrow.
That's not what you said. You said a wheelbarrow. Or something like that.
That might be some of the West Virginia road I'm on there.
But, you know, you make a good... You what?
I've heard a couple guys on the job call them wheelbarrows.
No.
Yeah. I don't go that, but it's a wheelbarrow, whatever. That's a hard word to say, man.
So you're saying that like there's a W on the end of it.
Yes.
Wheelbarrow.
Mm-hmm. Look it up.
Well, you make a good point, and when I come across young individuals, young males, I would call myself a mentor. Any opportunity I get to talk to our youth, I talk to them about things like this. When I coach ball, I talk to them about life and work, and you know. And one thing that it works for me, and I'm super fortunate. I see it all the time. Jacksonville's a big city. There's a lot going on here, and on Facebook they have this group. It's called Who's Hiring in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. So it's a place where people can go and find employees. It's a place where people can go to find employers.
Right.
And one thing that has always struck me as odd is that I was fortunate enough to where I was in construction as an electrician for about 15 years. Then I went to truck driving. So I have about 10 years in truck driving. So I have 2 trades that I can bounce in between and still make top dollar. So if one crashes, which happened, and that's how I ended up being a truck driver back in Huh?
I thought, oh yeah.
Back in 2007 or 2006, life was great. Making well over $100,000 a year by myself, not including my wife, and was spending like that. I was young, 25, 26, 27, 28,
Yep.
$100,000 a year, spend.
Yep.
And all of a sudden the housing market crashed. Now, I had no overhead, so I didn't lose anything. The only thing I lost was income.
Mm-hmm.
So all my family, they're truck drivers, owner-operators, not company drivers. You know, they go where the money's at. But so when I see people and I talk to people who can't really find their way, they just graduated high school, they're not sure what to do, and this has always been a good thing for men who didn't go to college or has felonies or has, or caught up in, construction, they hire everybody. Right?
Yeah, they hire anybody.
So, I mean, you can find it. There's no reason why a young individual should not have a job when there's construction. Now I know that, geographical location and the economic status of that area plays a big part, but here in Jacksonville, when I first moved here, fresh out of prison, 1999, right out of prison. I got out October, and I was living in Jacksonville by November, and everybody called this the city of the working man. And dude, I had 2 jobs immediately, right out of prison. So when people talk about I can't find a job or whatever, I find it very hard to be empathetic.
Right.
So can I segue into the next one, or no? It's your turn, right?
No, we started with mine, so it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm fixing to piss a lot of people off right here. So I'm going to preface this.
Let them have it.
Well, I want to preface this by saying that I don't mean this personal, and I'm not trying to attack anybody, but the title of my topic is Dads versus Moms. No, I'm going out there. Prepare yourself.
Remember that tough skin we was just talking about?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing.
I hope y'all pulled y'all's year in the construction industry.
So, I'm going to try to be nice. No, I'm not. Fuck it. I believe dads are equally important as moms, and maybe even more important than moms. Oh, no, I just got chills just saying that. But let me explain before y'all, just turn us off or start ripping us to shreds.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is I get angry. I'm a supporter and advocate of dads. And I'm not talking about your shitty dads that don't pay what they're supposed to. I'm a divorced dad, by the way, and this is where all this is coming from. But I was there during conception, right? I mean, I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
I was there for every single. I didn't miss one doctor's visit, and I have 3 kids.
That's a lot of doctor's visits.
Dude, what? I went to every class. I went to every Lamaze class, every breastfeeding class. I went through every fucking class. When my ex-wife was pregnant, I made those trips to the fucking Jiffy store at midnight to go get pickled everything. You know what I mean? You know how pregnant women get. They want this crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I took my happy ass to the fucking store, no questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. I didn't complain about it. I got up, I got my fucking vehicle, and I went and got the shit. There's been times where I was woke up in the middle of the night, because her back hurt while she was pregnant, so I rubbed her fucking back.
Yep.
So my point to all this, and also, I was there for every delivery. I held my daughter for the first time. Matter of fact, I was the first person to hold my daughters. All 3 of them.
Yeah.
I held them before my wife held them. My ex-wife held them.
Yep.
My point to all this is that it angers me that we get shitted on in every aspect when it comes to being a dad. Every fucking aspect. At the hospital, during the pregnancies, they didn't offer me shit. Right. They didn't offer me no food. the nurses or the orderlies or whatever, they're bringing in, trays and shit, and I'm like, huh, well, fuck, where's mine at? Oh, this is for the moms. Okay, well, the mom ain't here by herself. The mom didn't have this baby by herself.
Yeah, but the mom just went through a traumatic event, dude. Like,
I didn't.
Just got put, huh?
I watched my wife's vagina go from that to that. That's not a traumatic experience. I get what you're saying, and I understand that what a pregnancy does to a woman's body. I get what it does to them mentally. I get it. I understand. I went through 3 of them.
They just squeezed the watermelon out of a hole the size of a lemon.
Yeah, but with medication.
Not always.
I know, but mine had medication. So she didn't feel nothing. My point to all this is that, okay, I'm a divorced dad, and I live in Florida, which is a no-fault state, which is good. Why is it that in a majority of the states in this country, when there's a divorce between 2 parents, the children automatically go to the mom? Automatically, before trial, before lawyers, before anything, the kids go to the mom always. Why?
They're the paternal figure in that situation.
No, they're the maternal. I'm the paternal.
Oh, right. Yeah. The maternal figure in there.
So what is? I don't understand what. I get that society suggests that the mother is the nurturer.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
But that's not true in all cases. I'm a nurturer. Dude, you know how many times I've walked my kids up and down the damn hallway as infants because they couldn't sleep? That's nurturing, motherfucker.
Yeah. Dude, I totally get it. I'm not a divorced dad. I have 3 kids of my own, and I've been happily married for 18 years. But I get it. I totally get it. Like, I feel, pushed off to the wayside sometimes because my kids always run to their mama with problems. They don't ever come to me first. That's because I have females, and you have 3 females. So,
but Red, wait a minute. How many? And just shoot from the hip. How many girlfriends do you think you've had in your entire life?
Oh God, dude.
Let's just keep it in increments of 10, 20, 30, 40. It's up there, right?
Dude, I don't even put a number on that.
Yeah. But see, that proves my point is that. So, quick little story. So, my oldest daughter, she hit that moment in life where she can now reproduce. I'll keep it PG. It's my daughter we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And I was not angry, maybe disappointed, maybe a little hurt that she felt that she could only talk to mom about that. And the reason behind that is because the mother of my kids, even my wife now, can only give advice from their experiences with their periods, right?
Right.
Yet I, on the other hand, and you, on the other hand, who have been with multiple women, have been with...
Wait a minute. Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
Dude, you've been with multiple women. Don't play like your wife was your first.
Yes, exactly. She was definitely my first.
Yeah. Maybe not your second and third. But my point is that I know about many different women in many different periods. I knew some that you couldn't tell that they were on their period. I knew some that... Wait, was that another one? How many is that now? 2?
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll keep this episode moving. I don't want to stick on this particular topic, dads versus moms, but
in a summary though, I mean, I do feel that I'm going to say that dads are just as important. I'm not going to say one's more important than the other.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was reaching a little bit there. I'm angry.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but your point of view is way different than mine. You're a divorced dad,
Right.
co-parenting with somebody else. I'm raising my kids with my wife. So,
Right.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. I totally get where you're coming from. I was there for all three of my kids' births. I was there with them when they were sick. I was there watching them walk. I was there to see them, say their first words. I was there for the late night snack run. Dude, I went out one time, just real quick story. I went out one time at 3 o'clock. No, let's see. No, what was it? It was midnight. And we lived out in the country, way out in the sticks, okay? Probably 10 miles from the nearest store that stayed open. And my wife says, I want some bacon.
Bacon?
Bacon. And I want bread and butter pickles.
Shit.
Yeah. So I went down. I was like, all right.
Well, now that you mention it, I want bacon.
Right. Yeah, I always want bacon. But she wanted bacon and pickles and some fruit or something. It was weird. But anyway, I was like, man, it's midnight. Well, Walmart's still open. So I take my happy ass to Walmart. I get the bacon. I get the bread and butter pickles and the fruit and all this other bullshit that she wants. Pay for it. Drive all the way back home. I walk in the house with a bag on like I just went out and killed food for the family. I got a bag in my hand. Yeah, I brought back what you needed. She's asleep.
What?
On the couch, knocked out, sleeping.
You should have went in there and fried up some bacon. That'd have woke her ass up.
Man, I was like, hey, it's time to get up. I got bacon, I got fruit, I got bread and butter pickles. I'll eat it in the morning.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, I feel where you're coming from. I really do.
Well, in closing on this topic, I agree with Red, I went out there a little bit saying that dads are more important, but it really angers me when good dads get shitted on based just on the fact that they're dads.
Yeah.
I mean that's the truth of it, that's it, black and white, is we get shitted on solely because we're dads.
Yep.
So so I talked about it. I feel better. we can move on. What's the next one?
Well, as everybody knows that listens to this podcast, I'm a softball dad. I'm also a softball coach. And we had a game today.
Can I just say how masculine you sound when you say I'm a softball dad?
Hey, dude.
You look like a softball dad.
It's a softball lifestyle. I'm a softball dad. But today we had a doubleheader against a neighboring county team, and I ran across some of the poorest sportsmanship from another team that I've ever encountered in my entire life. Most teams, they cheer, you know what I mean, for their team. Like my team cheers for their players when they get up to bat and all this kind of stuff, and I like that. And that shows camaraderie, it shows, togetherness, it shows all that. It shows the relationship they have with one another, they can back one another and trust one another enough. But today, I've seen the opposite team sitting in the dugout, mocking and calling names and making fun of my team.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with the with Blue?
I did, and I had a conversation with the opposing coach. The team.
How'd that go? Was it received well?
No, it was not received well at all.
By either of the two?
It was so bad that when I confronted the umpire about it, yeah, I'll take care of it. I got you. But then 5 minutes later, it happens again. So it didn't get handled the way it was supposed to get handled. But after the game, when I approached the coach, he says, "Hey man, it's all part of softball. It's all about taunting. It's all about throwing the other team off balance and make." I'm like, no, dude, that's a totally separate thing than what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about, that's just the story that I have. What I want to talk about is young people, have no respect, and that they don't have any respect. They don't respect their elders. They don't have any kind of decency about them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Class. You know what I mean? Having class, having respect. And that story is strictly from the softball field, but it happens in public too.
Yeah, very much so.
You know what I mean? And one particular time today, one of my girls, hardball got hit the second base line. Drive was kind of hard to get a hold of. It went by the girl. And I'm sitting on the sidelines, all right, let's go, you know what I mean? Tighten it up. And I called the girl's name. And we're going to call her Susan. Okay?
Did you say Susan or Susan?
Susan. Okay. I said, all right, Susan, let's go. Got to get that now. From the dugout of the opposing team. Yeah, Susan, we got to have those.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man, that shit ain't called for.
No, that's,
You know what I mean? And just little snickery marks, and, you know what I mean? It was not a good experience. But young people just don't have any respect for older people these days, man. I see it all the time. That was just one particular instance, but it happens everywhere. I go to the grocery store with my family, and there's young people walking around slinging cuss words, smoking cigarettes, and just being degenerates. You know what I mean? And I cuss in front of my kids. But that's me. I'm allowed to do that. I have that right. As a parent, as a father, like we were just talking about, I have that right to cuss in front of my kids. But nobody else does.
Wait a minute. Meaning in public?
In public, yes.
Uh,
All three of my children have heard shit, hell, damn, ass, bitch, hell, fuck. They've heard them all. But only me as a parent, and my wife included, only parents have that right. You don't have the right. You don't get to cuss in front of my kids unless you're family. Like you, for instance. You're my family. I don't consider you a friend. I don't consider you an acquaintance. You are my family.
Yeah,
and
neutral. That's it.
You have that right to use a cuss word in front of my kids, but strangers do not.
But in what setting? Because if you say
setting.
What's that?
A public setting.
Yeah, but see, that's I mean, I agree with you on everything that you said. I believe that times have changed, people have changed, the way people parent has changed. Even the way I parent is a bit taboo to my parents.
Absolutely.
So I agree, and same thing with, about the cussing. I allow my kids to express themselves verbally, however they see fit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a time and place, of course. But once you hit that public setting, I mean, that's the hard part about being a parent, in my opinion, is that here we are as parents. I know. Hear me out. Here we are as parents. We're trying to shelter our kids to a certain extent. So we shelter them and we teach them right from wrong, and we coddle them, and we keep the world's ugliness from them. Once they hit a certain age, there's no hiding that anymore. Imagine what these kids hear at school.
Absolutely.
So once you get into a public setting, I think the problem that you're talking about is a difference between our generation, our parents' generation, and today's generation. Is that, dude, there's been times that we're at restaurants and the booth behind us are some rough and rowdy adults, kids, teenagers, throwing F-bombs. And yeah, dude, I've stood up, looked over on this other, on the other side of that booth and told them as nicely as I could, I don't appreciate it. My kids are over here listening to y'all.
Yep.
But
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that would have worked in our generation. Today, kids are like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Freedom of speech. You know what I mean? So I guess my point is that once they go out in that world, dude, you can't shelter them from that stuff anymore.
No, I'm expecting to shelter them when they go out in the world on their own. I've got a 16-year-old, I've got a 12-year-old, and I've got a 9-year-old. All three of them have heard all the cuss words. But it's not that I'm worried about them hearing it. It's that I'm not really worried about anything. It's not the fact that they're hearing those cuss words. It's that young person having the respect enough to say,
"Yeah, I hear you,"
in front of kids. You know what I mean? Maybe I should watch my mouth a little bit.
Yeah,
you know
I get that.
Oh, but so not only are you embarrassing yourself, but you're embarrassing the whole group of people that you're with.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know, like we have a restaurant that we go to a lot. There's TVs on the wall, football games going, you know what I mean? And, you know, I choose to take my family to this restaurant, so a lot of it is on me. But, you know, young people need to understand that, you know, there's a time and a place for those words. Like, I don't sling out cuss words in my everyday vernacular. I mean, when I'm talking to people on the job, I'm using the, you know, my working
your work language.
Yeah, you know, but when I'm with the guys or I'm on the job and there's no homeowners around or anything like that, or we're doing a podcast, then yeah, I'm talking how Red talks. But there's a time and a place for that, and young people need to realize that.
Yeah, I agree, and it's hard to it's kind of hard to pinpoint when all this everything started going downhill. I mean, because if you think about it. The kids, the age of the kids that we're talking about is our generation. These parents, this is these parents are us.
Hey, Joe Rogan, can you leave the mic alone for a minute and just talk?
Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable.
I hear you.
I think I've only had this situation. I mean, I had a similar situation happen. And it caused so much of a conflict that I was head coach. My ex-wife at the time, she was my wife at the time, but we were thrown out of the game, and it was because the other team mom was running her mouth in a rude manner, and my ex-wife was not having it, so she started running her mouth. And everybody rushed the field. The other woman rushed the field. My wife rushed the field. Her husband rushed the field. So I rushed the field. Next thing you know, we're thrown out of that game and the next game. And then that was when I was coaching t-ball. And then I went to coaching soccer, and I had this little kid. Now I don't want to stereotype anybody, but they were from the Middle East. And dude, the way he talked to his mother and the way the dad talked to the mom was crazy.
Yep.
So again, same situation. I was the head coach. We had a team mom. You know, she handled the snacks and and the messaging, getting the information out or whatever.
Yep.
And this little kid popped off at the mouth to my wife. And I went over there and I grabbed him by the hand, shaking his hand. And when I did, I put the man hand on him, son. And I looked him square in the eye, and I told him, "Don't you ever talk to my wife like that again." He was the only player that did not return the following season. But what is it? So what's the problem here? Why are the kids today? Because I see it, and it's gotten so bad that it's affecting customer service.
It's lack of discipline.
Discipline from whom? Themselves? Self-discipline, or discipline from their parents?
Both.
I agree with that.
I think it's a little bit of both. When they're little, living at home, it's their parents' job to steer them in that right direction and show them to respect their elders and to act a certain way in public.
Yeah.
And once they reach the age of accountability, which
is what age?
I mean, legally 18, but, you know, the age of accountability, I think, is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 14, 16 years old.
Yeah, when you know right from wrong.
Well, I think you're born knowing right from wrong. You know when you're born. Yeah, you know when you're born, it's wrong to kill your mom and dad. You know what I mean? So.
Damn. Well, you went out there, didn't you?
Well, I mean that's right and wrong. That's about as right and wrong as you can get is killing your parents. But you know that innately. You know what I mean? That's a subconscious thing. You know right from wrong when you're born. But it's a parent's job to steer these kids in the right direction and show them how to act in public, how not to act in public. You know. And when you get to that certain age, that age of accountability, somewhere in the neighborhood of, like I say, 14 to 18 years old, then it's on you. It's on that particular kid to know how to act in public. And you take what you learn from home and you apply it to the world when you get out in the world yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, young kids, stop acting a fool in Walmart. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for everybody involved, I believe. Hold on here. I'm having some technical difficulties. But yeah, I think, Red, I think this would be a good place to go ahead and start wrapping it up. For anybody who is new to the podcast, you wanna tell them where they can find us?
Yeah. Of course. We're on Facebook at Paycheck and Red. We are on Twitter at Paycheck and Red. We are on Instagram at Paycheck and Red Podcast. And we have a .com, paycheckandred.com, where you can find merch, you can listen to the podcast, you can subscribe to the podcast, we have pictures, our shenanigans and whatnot, and you can also find us on dramacityproductions.com/paycheck.
There it is. And in closing, things that all men should know is don't shit where you gotta eat.
No, absolutely not.
And that's it. Until next time, see ya.
Later.